In a village where secrets ferment like palm wine, Oluchi visits the one woman whose powders can force truth from reluctant lips, even if that truth destroys everything she's built her life upon. The morning air was heavy with dew as Chinedu hurried through the village market. His mobile phone vibrated against his hip for the third time. With a sigh, he ducked behind a yam stall and answered. "Chinedu, where are you?" Oluchi's voice was sharp with suspicion. "I just called the farm, and Emeka said you left hours ago." "I'm at the market, my love," Chinedu said, turning away from the crowd. "Getting supplies for the—" A woman's laugh cut through his words, light and intimate. "Who is that?" Oluchi demanded. "Whose voice do I hear?" "Just the cassava seller," Chinedu replied quickly. "The market is busy today." "That didn't sound like Mama Nkechi. I'm at a different stall. Listen, I need to finish here before meeting with Chief Okonkwo about our palm wine supply. I'll be home soon." He ended the call and turned to face Amara, who leaned against a wooden post, arms crossed. "Your wife again?" she asked, a smile playing on her full lips. "You shouldn't have laughed so loudly," Chinedu said, but his annoyance faded as Amara stepped closer. "She suspects," Amara said, straightening the collar of his agbada. "Maybe it's time to tell her the truth about us." Chinedu shook his head. "Not yet. There's too much at stake with the palm wine business. Chief Okonkwo respects Oluchi's family. If she leaves me, I lose the contract." Amara's eyes narrowed. "And what about what I want? How long must I be your secret?" "After the festival," Chinedu promised, taking her hands. "Once I secure the exclusive rights to supply palm wine, nothing else will matter. We'll have enough money to leave this village altogether." Amara seemed satisfied with this answer, for now. "I have a plan to help with your wife," she said. "My cousin Tunda has this new app that can change voices. We can use it to convince her you're truly with the chief tonight." As they discussed the details, neither noticed the young boy watching from behind the banana stand, Oluchi's brother's son, Kolada. That evening, Oluchi paced in their compound, a small but respectable home at the edge of the village. The smell of egusi soup filled the air, but her mind was elsewhere. When her phone rang, she answered immediately. "Oluchi, my dear," Chinedu's voice came through. "I'll be late tonight. The meeting with Chief Okonkwo is going well." In the background, a deep voice called out, "More palm wine for my friend Chinedu. We have much to discuss." "Is that the chief?" Oluchi asked, her suspicion momentarily wavering. "Yes, he's in high spirits tonight. Don't wait up for me." After the call ended, Oluchi stared at her phone. Something felt wrong. Then her nephew Kolada arrived, breathless from running. "Auntie, I saw Uncle Chinedu at the market today," he blurted. "He was with that woman who sells beads near the river." "Amara?" Oluchi asked, her heart sinking. Kolada nodded. They were holding hands and talking very close. Oluchi sent the boy home with some soup and sat alone in the darkening compound. Her brother Adebayo arrived shortly after, finding her still as stone. "He's with her again," Oluchi said flatly. Adebayo sat beside his sister. "You've known for months. What will you do now?" "Chief Okonkwo's daughter is getting married next week," Oluchi said. "There will be a feast, and Chinedu's palm wine will be served to everyone. It's his big chance to impress the whole village." "And?" "I've spoken to Mama Ezin," Oluchi said, referring to the village herbalist. Adebayo's eyes widened. "Sister, be careful. Her medicines are powerful." "It's not poison," Oluchi assured him. "Just something to loosen his tongue. When he serves his special palm wine to the chief and the elders, the truth about his affair will pour out for all to hear. The day before the wedding feast, Chinedu was nervous but excited. He and Amara met at their usual place, an abandoned palm wine tapper's hut near the stream. "Tomorrow changes everything," he said, laying out cups to taste different batches of his finest palm wine. "Chief Okonkwo has already hinted that I'll be named the official supplier for all village ceremonies." "And then we leave?" Amara confirmed, running her fingers along his arm. "Then we leave," Chinedu agreed. "I've already spoken to my cousin in Lagos. He has a place for us to stay until we find our own." What Chinedu didn't know was that Oluchi had already visited his storage hut. The special brew, reserved for the chief and elders, now contained Mama Izina's truth-speaking powder. That night, Oluchi prepared Chinedu's favorite meal, pounded yam and bitter leaf soup. She was unusually attentive, even suggesting he rest well for his big day. "You've been working so hard," she said, her voice gentle. "Tomorrow will be your moment." Chinedu felt a pang of guilt, but pushed it aside. Soon, he reasoned, this deception would end. The wedding day arrived with drumming and singing. The village square was transformed with colourful cloths and palm fronds. Chinedu arrived early with his helpers, setting up his palm wine station with pride. Chief Okonkwo himself came to inspect the setup. "Chinedu, my son," he said, clapping him on the shoulder. "Today your wine will flow for the most important people in our community." "Thank you, Chief," Chinedu replied, bowing slightly. "I've prepared my best brew for you and the elders." From across the square, Oluchi watched, her face a careful mask of pride. Beside her stood Adebayo, who had secretly brought something new to the celebration, a small drone camera borrowed from his friend who worked in the city. "Are you sure about this?" Adebayo whispered. "Everyone should see the truth," Oluchi replied. As the celebration reached its peak, Chinedu personally served his special palm wine to the chief and village elders. They sat in a semicircle under the ancient Iroko tree, the most honoured position in the square. Unknown to Chinedu, the drone hovered silently above, its camera recording everything. After the second round of drinks, something strange began to happen. Chinedu, who had sampled his own special brew, started to speak more loudly than necessary. "This palm wine," he announced, "comes from the finest trees beyond the river. The same river where Amara and I meet when I tell my wife I'm tapping palm trees." A hush fell over the nearby guests. Chief Okonkwo lowered his cup, his brow furrowed. "Chinedu?" he questioned. But Chinedu continued, as if unable to stop himself. "My wife thinks I'm meeting you most evenings, Chief, but I'm with Amara. We're planning to take the money from this contract and leave for Lagos next week." Gasps and murmurs spread through the crowd. Amara, who had been standing near the food tables, tried to slip away, but several women blocked her path. The drone dipped lower, capturing Chinedu's confession clearly. "I've been lying to everyone," Chinedu continued, looking confused at his own words. The respected palm wine merchant, cheating his good wife, and planning to abandon his village. Chief Okonkwo stood, his face dark with anger. "Is this how you honor our traditions, Chinedu? With lies and betrayal?" From the edge of the gathering, Oluchi stepped forward. The drone returned to Adebayo's hands as she approached her husband. "The palm wine speaks the truth today," she said, her voice carrying across the now silent celebration, "just as our ancestors always said it would." Chinedu stared at her, understanding dawning on his face. "You knew?" "I knew," Oluchi confirmed. "The whole village knows now." Chief Okonkwo turned to Oluchi with respect in his eyes. "Daughter of our land, you have been wronged. What justice do you seek?" Oluchi looked at her husband, then at Amara, who stood surrounded but defiant. "I seek no revenge," Oluchi said finally. "The truth is punishment enough. But I do ask that the palm wine contract go to my brother Adebayo, who has always been honest in his dealings." The chief nodded approvingly. "It shall be done." Chinedu, still under the influence of the truth-speaking medicine, could only watch as his carefully constructed plans collapsed around him. The following morning, Chinedu found his belongings outside their compound. The village had not cast him out entirely, such was not their way, but his position was lost. The palm wine merchant who had built his business on quality had lost something more valuable: trust. As for Oluchi, she stood taller now. The women of the village brought her gifts and praised her wisdom. Even Mama Ezine visited, offering rare approval. "You used the truth, not poison," the old herbalist said. "That shows strength of character." "Truth is more powerful than any poison," Oluchi replied. "And now I can begin again without lies shadowing my compound." In the weeks that followed, Adebayo's palm wine business flourished. Sometimes, when she helped her brother serve at gatherings, Oluchi would see Chinedu watching from a distance, alone. Amara had indeed left for Lagos, but without him. The drone footage had become a cautionary tale in the village, a modern twist on an age-old story of deception exposed. The elders, after initial shock at the flying camera, now spoke of it as if it was simply another tool through which the ancestors revealed truth. And as for Oluchi, she found peace in her decision. There had been a moment in Mama Ezine's hut when a darker path had tempted her, but in choosing truth over vengeance, she had maintained the dignity that Chinedu had carelessly discarded. The palm wine merchant lost everything, mothers now told their children, not because of magic or curses, but because he forgot that in our village, truth always finds its way home. Your thoughts about this story in the comments section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more exciting stories from the heart of Africa.